Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? Shelby, hello. How are you? I saw Shelby. Welcome. Welcome to the class. You are in large and in charge. Glad to have you. Glad to have you, Shelby. Cannabis Maximus, what's going on? Good to have you. Good to see you here. So thank you for being here. So yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Greetings to everybody. Ruben, what's happening? Dark Goddess, good to have you here. Good to see you. So everybody, what's up? What's up? So we'll get going here in just a minute. So I'll give everybody a little bit of a chance. So we'll have, and there's Voice Vo Vibes is in the house. Iconic Man is in the house. Nicole Hicks, hello, hello. What's happening? All the way from Nashville, Tennessee. All right. Good to have you. It's good to have you in the house. Most definitely. Most definitely. Ivory, what's happening? Eugene Dorsey. Anton Gardner, hello, hello. Michael Thomas. Good to have you. Good to have you. All right. All right. From the DMV. Now, Shelby, what's the DMV? Let's see, that's be driver's motor vehicle in Texas. Yeah. Oh, Love JJ, what's happening? Hadn't seen you in a while. Hadn't seen you in a while. What's happening? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, the man is in the house. All right, Melanated Diasporan is in the house. All right. Is that Tanika Adams? Hello, Tanika. How are you? Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Man, my internet, I guess my internet is kind of messing up today or something. I don't know what's happening. I couldn't stream my stuff that I needed to stream today. But anyway, we're going DC, Maryland, VA. Okay, gotcha. Okay. I was going to say, yeah, thanks, Will. I appreciate that. Because, yeah, so DMV, that's a totally different meaning in Texas. Yeah, that's where you go get your license. Tags, car tags, and all that stuff. So, yeah. Uh-oh. Let's see what's happening. I think I'm pulling on cords or something down here. Get these out of the way. So, yeah. All right. JJ said he's in the DMV. All right. And Karen JL Cartwright, hello. Judy Smith Randall's in the house. What's happening, Judy? All right. Okay, Will said he's in DC, from DC, living in Orlando. Okay. All right. Orlando. In the Florida place. All right. Well, guys, we'll free flow tonight. So I know I've been having some topics, and people have been asking so many good questions, man. I just thought y'all can ask the questions, and we can just free flow. So just see what you got. Your questions will be the star of the show. That's what I'm talking about. Rada Creator's in the house. What's going on, Rada Creator? She is here. Good to have you. All right. So yeah. So all right. So we can get rolling. So I'm Reginald Kuakaru. So that's my stage name, Reginald Martin. That's my real name, my government name. But yeah. So my stripper name is Kuakaru. So I call it. Yeah. Anyway, y'all know. But hey, it's all good. So, but yeah, I'm the founder of Comedic Centered Living and the creator of the African Mind Rewired class. And I help former Christians get over negative Christian programming so that they can live life boldly, authentically, unapologetically, and on their terms, okay? Without guilt or shame. And that's a lot of things, a lot of times people deal with that, deal with basically living their life, having fun in life, and then feeling guilty about it, feeling guilty about living the good life. Man, that should never be the case, because abundance is all over the place. And we are abundant individuals, abundant people. And we can create that. And when we do, we should enjoy it. Okay? Plain and simple. So, no doubt, no doubt. Dulce Maria's in the house. What's going on, Dulce Maria? What's happening? Let's see. And Link, let's see. LNTKK University says, my answer is name me in my sleep. Abodagwa. Okay, all right. Cool. All right. Chelsea Lewis from Houston, Texas. HTX. The big H town. That's where I went to college, is Houston. Went to Houston Baptist University. Houston was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I liked it. I liked Houston. So it's all good. All right. So let's get it started, guys. So any questions tonight? So let's just talk. Let's chit chat. I know there's I always have comments and stuff, on the stuff that I post and videos, and it's interesting. Last couple of weeks, for some reason, and I notice how it seems like things are kind of flow like in bunches, And one of the things that's been flowing in bunches that I notice is like people are saying, I believe, or in my opinion, blah, 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 about the stuff that, that I'm talking about a lot of times. And I really find it interesting that a person, because I endeavor to give facts, facts and just hard evidence about a lot of things as much as I can. Siobhan Johnson gave $9.99 right out the box. Thank you, Siobhan Johnson. Thank you very much. Definitely appreciate that. But it's interesting when I give a fact about something and then somebody comes back and says, well, in my opinion, blah, blah, blah. And, and usually when they start out something, a comment like that, I don't even finish the rest of it because I'm not interested in your opinion. Give me some. If I'm giving you facts, be courteous enough to give me some facts back. Not your opinion or I believe such and such, because all belief is nothing but an opinion. Okay, it is an opinion. A belief is an opinion without facts. Okay, that's all it is. So when somebody says I believe, that doesn't mean that they have any facts. It's just their opinion about something. And everybody's got an opinion. You are entitled to your opinion. But your opinion does not remove the facts of what the facts are. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. So let's see. Nicole Hicks says, I've heard you speak on masturbate as a way that this universe started. Elaborate, please. Okay. Nicole, that's an excellent question. So one of the stories about that in ancient Egypt, one of the stories is that Atum basically took his phallus in his hands and sped out Shu and Tefnut. Okay, so he masturbated and they came forth. Okay. But understand that this is simply using human characteristics or anthropomorphizing the idea of creation. So how the creation started, and the idea that the universe came into being. So one of the philosophical principles of ancient Kemetic teachings is that to create anything, there has to be a masculine and feminine principle. There has to be opposites, okay, or opposing, not opposing necessarily, but there has to be the opposites of masculine and feminine, okay? So Atum actually is, functionally speaking, Atum is both masculine and feminine. Okay, so we talk about Atum in the case of it being a male entity, but in reality, what the ancients were saying is that Atum created itself in a sense, or created the universe from itself. Okay, so the hand actually represented the feminine principle. So he took his phallus in his hand. But Atum singularly created from itself, and the hand was the feminine aspect of itself used to help create the universe. Okay, so that's what that story is talking about. It's not a literal idea. Now I talk about masturbation, and I joke about that a lot of times because that's such a big sexuality is, and really toxic sexuality is such a part of Christianity. And it's crazy to me that the Christian idea of God will let wars happen. And I'm talking about the Christian idea. This is not my idea of God. This is not the ancients' idea of God. This is the Christian idea of God. That this God would allow wars to happen, children to starve, babies to die, all of this stuff. But the most concerned thing that this God is more concerned about you masturbating than stopping all of this negative stuff happening in the world. Okay, so that to me is just it's laughable. Okay, in that sense. So that's why I talk about masturbation in the sense of the irony and the absurdity of how a God could be so concerned with a person masturbating, but allow all this other stuff to happen. Okay, so that's what I mean by that. So Michael Thomas gave 1999. Thank you, Michael Thomas. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. So that's what I'm talking about. But that was a great question, and understand the ancient Africans would talk about how the universe functions. It's not so when we see personas and personalities, these are personifications of universal functions, not humans. Okay, but they use natural symbols or natural aspects of our of creation to basically express these ideas. Okay, so hold on, put that back up there, Voice. So so Jude said, what's the difference between having a belief and opinion with no facts and our experience with the double slit experiment where our beliefs or the filter of our beliefs create our manifestations? So in this sense, it is because our reality, we form our reality based on our opinions. It is really what it is. So if we have an opinion about something or a belief about our reality, it is simply our opinion of the experience of the reality. Okay, but reality is not real. Okay, and this is what I mean by that, because the ancients talk about reality being an illusion. All right, but they're not saying that reality is not real, that it's not that it doesn't exist or anything like that. The illusion is that we have no power over this reality. That's the illusion. And our beliefs wrap into that illusion. The facts are that we have power over our illusion, but if we have been conditioned and programmed to think a certain way, then our opinion about the events is going to be from based on that programming that we have. And in the case of a lot of the African diaspora, we are programmed through Christianity. We're programmed through our religious beliefs. Okay, we're programmed to think a certain way or to believe a certain way or to define events a certain way, and all they are is an opinion, really. Okay, because we can change our opinion or we can change our beliefs in an instant. And having the ability to do that is actually very powerful. But we have to change those beliefs from a foundation of knowing and from a foundation of understanding our power and our ability beyond our human mind. Okay, our human mind does operate in opinion. Okay, it really is the case. But the opinion is about the belief, and we filter our reality through our opinions. Okay, so that was a great question, Judy. Great question. Love that. Love that. So let's see. Shavane Johnson says, I notice Christians explain free will as an actual act rather than the desire to act. How would you define free will? Because I think they made it up to explain the interactions of their God. And see, that's free will is just the ability that you are free to act. You're free to do as you please in a sense. Okay. But Christianity, they muck that idea up because they really tell you that you have free will. But if you exercise that free will in a way that their God doesn't like, you can go to hell. Then if you have free will to act, but you get punished if it's a way that their so-called God doesn't like, that's not really free will. It's not free at all, because the consequence is eternal damnation. Okay, so that's a lot of times the Christian way of thinking gets into a lot of these contradictions philosophically that excuse me, that just don't they don't make sense, really and truly. So free will is our ability to make the decisions that we want for our lives. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that there are no consequences for our decisions, because there are. Everything that we do, there's a consequence for it. And they can be good or bad. Okay. But there are consequences for our decisions. But as a god or goddess in training, understand that you are responsible for your decisions, and you are responsible for the outcomes and consequences that occur. Now, once they do, how do you decide to handle or deal with those things? And I'm not talking about just something negative either, because there are very positive consequences to believing, okay, choosing to see things a certain way, okay, that will then in turn filter into the idea of knowing once you get confirmation of a lot of these things, okay, a lot of these aspects. So excellent, great questions. See, that's what I mean, man. Y'all be asking some questions, man. I love it. Y'all be like, dang. So okay, Voice, I saw you had a question up there while I was talking. I didn't get to see it while I was talking though. Let's see, who was that? Dark Goddess sent 36 thumbs up, 71 in chat. What's up with the grin? Get them up. Okay. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Y'all help a brother out with that algorithm, so get this stuff out there, get that message out there. So that's what it's about. Teach, can you elaborate on the current emotional set point range where we can find a chart? Ruben, that's getting specifically into something in class. So I'll say that stuff there for class. So that's that is saved for class there. Okay. Let's see. Hey, thanks for the teachings. Question me. All right, you're welcome. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, Ruben, that one will be something for the Zoom class, because we can really get deep into it. Okay, deep into that question. All right. Let's see. Dulce Maria says, can you have inner knowing of something that you believe to be true for you with corresponding actions than just to have faith without actions? Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's really where you want to get to, is to where you're operating from a place of knowing. And really, and this is one of the things that I try to express to people, because we, from our Christian perspective, we're trained to think in terms of God and the universe in such a negative way. That either there's good or bad, there's evil or not, blah blah blah, and that there's just negative or bad things just lurking around every corner. If you don't watch out, something negative is going to happen to you. But we have to understand and know, and I say we have to know that the universe is a friendly place. You have to know that the universe wants to give you everything that you desire. Okay. The universe you have to operate from the universe as it being a friendly place that's operating in your favor. Okay. Now, at that point, if you operate from that standpoint, understanding that the universe is operating in your favor at all times, when something doesn't go right, then you're not saying the devil, something out there, okay, is keeping me from getting this. Either God is punishing me or the devil is getting in my way. No, at that point, that's when you go within and you got some inner work in order to get to be able to merge with that state of being that you desire. Okay. That's really what it comes down to. You literally vibrationally merge with that state of being that you desire. Because if you can actually think about it, if you can actually visualize it in your mind, it actually exists. It exists in another dimension, but you can access it through your imagination. But in order to become it, or in order to realize it into your reality, you literally have to become that expression of yourself. Okay. If you want to be a millionaire, okay, or you want to find the love of your life and you see yourself with somebody, being with somebody, you literally have to become that person in order to attract that individual that you see into your life. Okay. So that's the power of knowing. You know that the universe is a friendly place. And when you operate from that perspective, then you really it when you don't get it, then you have the opportunity to look within and figure out, okay, if I'm not getting that, then what is it that I need to do more of? Okay. So that's very powerful, very powerful. Let's see, who's this? Soy Opera, man, y'all be putting some names up here. Soyo something 8811. I'm sorry. I try to work on those names, and usually I could be pretty good with them, but man. Okay. So do you think it's valid per Kemetic thought that people are getting downloads from the sun metaphysically? Yes, because light is information. Okay. We are beings of light, and light is information. So yes, you can get downloads from the sun, the moon. So any light, you can get downloads from it. Absolutely. Okay. So yes. Absolutely, positively. All right. Just looking here. Let's see. IMAX 3D says, apart from the spiritual sciences, what did the people of Kemet do every day, like work, fun, or entertainment? That I don't know. So, I mean, I haven't, not something that I've studied. So I'm sure there's probably stuff out there like that. That can tell you, but that's not something that I've necessarily read about. The things that they did. Boss Dog gave $10. Thank you, Boss Dog. Appreciate it. So yeah. So I know a lot of people do talk about the historical aspects of Kemet, and which is valid stuff, good stuff. But I focus more on the spirituality and how it can help us today. Okay. So that's more what I focus on. All right. Let's see. Interesting. Let's see. Jafire. Okay, hold on, Voice. I had another question up there. It says, does anyone ever see the devil? That's an interesting question. Because this is the idea you have to think about. We have in Christianity, again, we actually personify these so-called entities to a point that, like, we want them to be like somebody walking around on earth. The devil is not a physical thing. All it is an idea that is in opposition to something else. Okay. So is anyone going to see the devil? They will say that something or somebody might symbolize the devil. Oh, yeah, he's a devil, she's a devil, blah, blah, blah. But have they ever seen that individual? No. They've never seen a devil. So even the idea of the devil with horns, it goes back to ancient African traditions and talking about the functionality of the universe. Horns represented the idea of duality, okay, opposition, okay. That's what horns represented. So Satan or Set represented the idea of opposition or opposites, okay. So nobody's ever seen the devil, and nobody ever will, because the devil doesn't exist. Not in the context that we're talking about. Michael Peaks is in the house. Gave $20. Thank you. Says good evening, beautiful people. Appreciate you, Michael. Appreciate you. What are your thoughts on sun gazing, moon gazing? Great practices. So that's something that I practiced sun gazing some years back, and very, very fruitful. Actually, when I sun gazed, I actually found that I didn't get as hungry that I normally would, because actually food turns into energy when you eat it, and when you can download it from the sun, it works. But you have to know how to do that properly, though, because I heard somebody erroneously tell people that the longer that they gaze at the sun, the stronger their eyes can get, and then they can look at the sun at noon. That is absolute stupidity for somebody to tell individuals that they don't understand what damages the eyes from the sun. If the UV rays are over 3 or 4, okay, so I say 4. If the UV rays, you got to know how to look that up. Usually the weather apps and stuff have that. But if the UV rays intensity is over 4, you probably don't want to be staring at the sun. So that means that the best times to stare at the sun, and also this depends on the time of the year, but usually any time of the year early in the morning when the sun is coming up, the UV rays are not that strong. Now in the summertime, they get strong very quickly because the sun is shining more directly onto the earth, just because of the season. In the wintertime, you can wait a little bit longer. But if those UV rays are very strong, you can actually burn a hole into your retina by looking at the sun, okay? But at sunset and at sunrise, you usually be okay early in the morning and late in the evening to sun gaze. So do not try to do that at noontime in the day. You will burn your freaking retinas out, okay? So yeah, but I heard somebody say that one time on a YouTube video, and I was like, dude, you stupid. You have no clue. But anyway, let's see here. Let's see. Difficult to gaze in the sun in Minnesota. It's cloudy every day. Yeah, I can imagine. Can the sun be a spirit? The sun is there's an aspect of spirit within the sun, but I'm not sure. Is that Charles and Cars? I'm not sure what you're asking there. Can the sun be a spirit? What is your idea of spirit? I guess I should ask that. So how do you define spirit in the context that you're asking this? Because I have a feeling you might be coming from a Christian perspective on that. Okay, so give me a little bit of extra. Where you coming from on that, how you define that. Teach, wasn't the first slave ship called the Jesus? Yeah, the first slave ship was called Jesus. Okay, well, I won't say the first slave. One of the slave, there was a slave ship named Jesus that brought slaves to the Americas. So absolutely, and I used to teach history, and so that was one of the things I definitely can confirm on that. And Christians love to call his name. So yeah, but yeah, there was a slave ship named Jesus, but there was a lot of ships that were named Jesus. It was a pretty common name for ships back then. So Christian people just named their ships after what they thought was a great man, great individual. Let's see. Did the serpent or God lie to Eve about what would happen after eating the fruit from the tree of knowledge? Will, you are asking that you're asking that question as if Adam and Eve were historical individuals. Okay, so that tells me you're probably coming from a Christian background. Okay, Adam and Eve never existed. Okay, so they were not historical. They were not people. They were actually Adam is actually a cognate of Atum. Atum, Adam. Okay, so it's actually a cognate. And I told you in the beginning that Atum represented masculine and feminine. Okay. Well, Adam and Eve actually represented the idea of human consciousness having a masculine and feminine aspect. Okay. And the feminine being the inner intuitive aspect of us all. So whether we're male or female, we have our consciousness has how the ancients represented it symbolically. Our consciousness and who we are has a masculine and feminine aspect. The ancients represented the feminine as our inner intuitive, creative aspect within any of us. Okay. And in our physical reality, the masculine mind is what we would call the ego mind today. Okay. So Eve was actually, from the Kemetic perspective, Eve was actually the inner intuitive aspect of consciousness that was giving the fruit of wisdom to the masculine mind. Okay. In other words, our intuition will give us insights. And when we get insights and then we recognize it egotistically or from our rational mind, I should say our rational mind, then we grow from that. Okay. As individuals. That's what that story, I'll say that's one way that story was meant to be expressed. It was not a historical event. Okay. It was just not a historical event. What are your thoughts on critical race theory? I don't have any, Eugene. I just don't get into. We focus so much on race that we don't really understand what the part that it plays. But I don't get into that anymore. So as a teacher, one of the reasons I hated teaching history was because I had to I felt like I had to lie every morning to basically help kids pass a test. And I got so freaking tired of that. My last year of teaching, I went and taught science and math because I was just like, I don't even want to teach history anymore because I'm having to propagate these lies and I'm tired of it, you know. So yeah. Let's see. Ivory Crump says someone was complaining to me about the people they have encountered in the dating world. Are the people we encounter when dating being attracted by our vibration? Good question, Ivory. Good question. I see. The people that we date reflect us. Okay, they reflect our consciousness. They reflect our vibrational essence. So it's not even necessarily that we're attracting them. They reflect an aspect of us on some level and the deepest level of our being. So if a person is telling you that they are constantly meeting the same type individual, I bet you that they meet other individuals too. But what they're saying is that they are only attracted to a certain type individual. Okay. And when you're attracted to, the reason why you're attracted to a certain type of individual is because of how you're wired. Somebody that does not trip that wire, so to speak, of how you are attracted, or what makes you attracted to an individual, you won't be attracted to them because it's just not an aspect of you. And this is something that I recognize, that I know this because of something that I recognized about myself years ago, that I was attracted to a certain type of woman. Okay. And I couldn't even, the women that I date today, I could not have dated them 15 years ago. Okay. I would not have had the confidence. I would not have had I basically would not have had the confidence to date the type of woman that I really find attractive now, which is usually very independent and self-sustaining. So they have their own thing going, and we just connect. Okay. So that's the way that I have evolved. That now, I mean, the woman I date now, she's a doctor with 3 degrees, has her own thing. She does not need me, and on any level, she does not need me. But that's part of what attracts me to her, is that she doesn't need me. She wants to be with me, and vice versa. I don't need her. But we come together because we both appreciate the other, and we both appreciate aspects of each other. So when you're finding yourself dating and running into, and I'm not saying you, Ivory, I'm saying just answering your question. So when anybody finds themselves dating the same type individuals, think about this. Unless each of those individuals got together and conspired to treat you the same way, the only common denominator is you. Plain and simple. Okay. So we don't necessarily attract them. They reflect us. Okay. So that's one way of looking at that. All right. All right. All right. Ruben gave $20. Thank you, brother Ruben. Appreciate you. Says peace, love, and manifest abundance, family. Ruben's priming that pump. Priming the pump. All right. All right. What was our ancestors' view on marriage? Shelby, I do not know. I do not know. But I know that today, we're talking about polygamy, and a lot of people are getting into that. And if that's what floats their boat, that's fine. But I can't answer that question. So that's not something that I've ever studied again on that. So let's see. Quan for real one. Let's see. Why do people in churches fall down when the pastor puts their hands on their foreheads? Suggestible? I don't know. That trips me out. That's a good question. Let's see. Judy says, so who you date has a lot to do with our soul contracts. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, all the major people, the major players in our life, absolutely. So those people are coming our lives to basically teach us something, and that's another thing that I've learned through dealing with relationships in the way that I have. I've dealt with a lot of pain, with going through relationships, but each time I learned something, and I learned something about me. Okay. So it wasn't, I could stay angry and bitter at the other people, but the fact of the matter is I chose them. I chose to be in a relationship with them. They didn't beat me up and say, hey, be in a relationship with me. I chose them. But why? Okay. So that's what we have to look at. And absolutely, the people that we become attracted to at any aspect in our lives. And check this out. Think about there is a phase that you'll find that if you date a lot, you'll find that the people in certain points of your life, you'll be more attracted to certain signs like Scorpio or Gemini, Libra, or whatever. You'll find that you'll be more attracted to, when you're in a certain phase, you'll be attracted to certain signs. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to that and watch. But yeah, definitely, our soul contracts are definitely definitely part of that dating scene. Most definitely. Good question. Good question. Uh, uh, yeah, JJ. That's that's the thing though, is that JJ is saying that you've opened up yourself to love even through some disappointment. Absolutely. I've had my butt whooped by love, man. I mean, love, if I had to, there were things that I went through in my life that I could bounce back from a whole lot quicker than a heartbreak. And I just remember one in particular, man. It just, I mean, I was broke in half, you know. No shit, I was shattered. So it happens, been through divorce, been through all that kind of stuff, man, just those disappointments. But it is about us learning about ourselves. We don't, a lot of people want to end up, they get hurt and they want to close up, you know, and then they wonder why they can't find love. Well, if you're closed up, love can't get in. How does it get in? You know, you can't accept it when it gets in. And there's a lot of things that we do that impede ourselves from really being able to love. And the bottom line is, when it really comes down to, is that you got to love you. You really got to appreciate who you are, because a lot of times the way we look for, what we look for in mates is validation. And I always say that people, the least amount of confidence that you have in yourself and appreciation that you have for yourself, the more you look for validation. Okay? Because you're looking for something outside yourself to say, hey, you know what, you're a good person, you're a good man, or you're a good woman. But the more confidence that you have in yourself and belief in yourself and love for yourself, you look for people that are going to reflect and confirm what you already know. Lack of confidence looks for validation. Confident people look for confirmation. Okay? That's the difference. Okay? So good question. Good question. Brothers, it's true that technology in some ancient civilizations were more developed than nowadays. Yeah, I believe that. And even the way that and that's Paradise 93 asked that question. Our idea of technology today is different than technology back then, because I think that really our idea of a God outside ourselves ends up making us produce technology, equipment that mimic our inner abilities. For instance, we can telepathically communicate with each other, but we built a telephone to talk to each other at distances. Okay. We've built computers that can house information. Okay. But we house information within us. Now, mind you, nobody's ever found a place where memories are stored in the physical body. Science has never found that. There's no connection to memories being stored in the brain somewhere. That's never been found. But the technology back then would be more connected to nature. Where we make synthetic stuff like steel and stuff like that. The ancients would use not rocks, what I'm talking, stones and graphite, all that natural stuff, crystals to basically build buildings and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, definitely that's our misunderstanding of ancient society. We think that ancient society, that the people back then were just dumb compared to what we know now. We believe that knowledge has advanced and that ancient knowledge was not as advanced as it is today. That's just not true. That's just not true. Especially when we're talking about spiritual technology. No, we are so far behind. We've digressed, for real. We've digressed. So great question. Great question, Paradise 93. Great question. Let's see. Let's see. Riley Creator says facts on telepathy. Absolutely, absolutely. Let's see. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. I'm new. Let's see, Shelby. So I'm new to the Zoom class. When are the Zoom meetings? Shelby, those are every third Saturday. So every third Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Time. So 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. So every third Saturday. Let's see. How Shelby the Zoom? Let's see. Okay. The Zoom classes are for those taking the African Mind Rewire course. Are you in? Yeah, she's in the course, Judy. She's taking the course. So yeah. So yeah, Shelby is in there. Let's see. Yeah, I have a feeling that we are hundreds of years late on everything. Oh, love JJ, we might be thousands of years late. For real. For real. Brother, you familiar with the flying machines and helicopters at the Seti One Temple? No, I've seen that hieroglyph that they think is the helicopters and like people dressed in astronaut suits. I've seen that, but that's about all that I know about them. So I don't know if that was something real or not. I know one of the things that people do will give credit to aliens and alien travelers for building the pyramids, and which is basically it folds right into white supremacy and racism, where they want to believe that Africans had nothing to do with building the pyramids because they wouldn't have ever been smart enough to do it. You know, not the dumb brutes that they enslaved, but that's never been proved. So, people there had to build what's there. So plain and simple. Let's see. Tyrone Legacy says, when one says something told me to leave, call someone, etc., would that be the higher car or higher selves? That could be, Tyrone. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because that the higher self is outside of space and time, so it can definitely connect with other aspects of others, I guess, and you can feel them. Okay, just intuitively, you know. No, me and my daughter. I mean, we have this like uncanny connection about a lot of stuff, just all the time. It's like she knows when to call me. I know when to call her. You know, when something is going on or whatever. It's just we just have this uncanny connection. So, and always, I remember when she played basketball, I could literally say, because I, as a parent, I'm trying to like direct her on the basketball court, so she could be shooting free throws or just lined up on the free throw line. And I could say to myself, "Boy, Shay, look at me." And invariably, she would turn around and look at me. And then I'm like, telling her to do something. And she'd be like, "Yeah, okay." So, but yeah, we can communicate telepathically. Actually, our ability to speak is really like almost like a downgrade from us being able to telepathically communicate with each other. It's almost like a downgrade. Let's see. Guru Quez says, what is your opinion on the chosen ones that's been going around lately? It's bullshit. See, again, if you want to act or think of God as a human-like person, then this God could choose other people. But if you've ever been a parent, try to choose one of your children over another one. That's really what it comes down to, because I have a son and a daughter. I love them both dearly. I could not choose my son or daughter one over the other. I couldn't do it. And you're going to tell me that this so-called God is going to do something that me, a human being, this God is supposed to be all powerful, all knowing, blah blah blah, he's going to choose one group of people over another group of his children? It doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense to me. So Again, if you can think in God in these terms of a human being, then yeah, but that God is going to reflect the thoughts of these human beings. In other words, man creates God in his image. Okay? You got a prejudiced, racist, homophobic God, that's the God in your image. That's who you are. You're going to create the God that either the traits that you admire most, or you're going to create a God that's going to fight against the traits that you hate the most. That's what man has done. Okay, so a chosen people is a bunch of crap. God is not human and cannot choose. The laws of the universe does not work like that. Okay, so good question. Good question. Good question. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Matthew Macius says, "Hero to how does one find a mentor within our spirituality?" I guess you were asking that to somebody else. So that's a good question. How do you find that? How do you find that? Okay, but I think that's up to the person, you know. So that person is going to find their mentor based on a lot of things. So you know. One question: is hell real? No. Is it physical place with fire? No. God's son, or God's son. So no, hell is not real. You think about it. So even Christianity, it again, it comes down to a contradiction, because if our physical bodies are in the ground in a grave, what is it that goes to hell and burns? I mean, just logically think about it. Okay, if that was possible, what would go to what is it that would go to hell and burn? It doesn't make sense. But there's only from the Catholic European perspective of a God that's separate from itself on some level can come up with an idea as heinous as hell, that you would send somebody to hell for eternity, to burn for eternity, with no chance of redemption whatsoever. I really, what broke me of this idea was I thought of one question, and this was before I had children. If I had a child, okay, well, I don't even have to say if now. My child, Voice, if she did something that was absolutely positively heinous, is there something that I could send her to jail for and never ever forgive her for it? Is there anything my child could do that I could never forgive them for and lock them up in a jail cell for eternity, for the rest of their life, and never ever forgive them? My child, the child that I helped bring into this world, that I love with all my heart, that I would die to protect. Is there anything she could do? Now, from that perspective, there is nothing that my daughter could ever do that I would never forgive her for. Now, I could be angry with her, I could be sad, I could be all of that stuff, but to never ever forgive her and to banish her for the rest of her life, there and when I think of it like that, you're telling me that a God, and again, I'm talking about the Christian God, not the way the Africans looked at it, okay? If a God that is all powerful and all knowing does not have, or I have more compassion than that God, then that's not a God. That's not something that I can ever worship. That's not a God. Something I can have more compassion than. That's crazy. Okay. Put that back up again, Voice. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. See. IMAX Reese says exactly, and God is supposed to be forgiving. Right. So it's crazy. So that idea, and from the African perspective, that would not even compute because we are all aspects of God enjoying life, enjoying physicality. So why would God send an aspect of itself or part of itself to burn in hell for eternity? That would be the Africans would ask that question. Okay. So you can't even get there to an idea of hell from the African perspective because it would not make sense. It does not compute. Okay. Do you believe Kemetic deities can influence lives? Yaya Moon, you are asking a question again from a perspective that these so-called deities are like people. Okay. From the African perspective, they were not deities. They are functions that they expressed and personified. Okay. They're not deities that can think. If you look at the ancient African, the symbolism of the ancient Kemetic symbolism, usually the netters that they represent don't have a skull cap. Okay, they have it covered, or they have a crown on it, or something that usually cuts it off. Okay, right around here. Okay, this is where rational thinking is housed in our brain. This is how we rationally think about things. Okay, they said that these gods or these deities do not think. Okay, so how would they influence somebody? How would they purposely try to influence somebody or make them do certain things? That's not how these laws of the universe work. So they were, if you understand the symbolism and you go a little bit deeper in the symbolism, you'll understand that they didn't think about these ideas like this, like human gods or human deities. These were ideas that were all over Africa. It's not just Kemet. These ideas were distinctly African. Okay. So no, short answer to your question, no. So they do not influence us. Okay. What are your thoughts on Taoism, and is it really for Asian spirituality? I've never studied. I'm sorry, I called it Taoism. I've never studied it. So in any depth, so I couldn't answer that, Shauna A. So don't know. Don't know. Let's see. One question I hear from certain parents is, "Have I failed you as a parent?" Yeah, I guess some people can ask that. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. What about the underworld? When the heart was weighed, I don't take it all literal though. So Tyrone, that um that idea of the weighing of the heart ceremony. So we only look at the weighing of the heart, but though each one of those symbols have a very deep um, and intricate meaning. A lot of it does. Okay. So the underworld, and you got to understand again from the way the ancient Africans thought. So their idea was is that the soul is the real you. Okay. This physical body is only a transitory aspect of you as a soul. Okay. You are within that soul. All right. So the soul was in the heavens. Okay. This world, earth, is the underworld. Okay. So when a soul descends in from the heavens into a physical body, then it enters the underworld. That's what the underworld is. This is what the Greeks call Hades, and this is where the idea of hell came from. Okay, but it wasn't hell as a place of fire and brimstone. It was a hell of like an obstacle course that you go through different trials and tribulations. That's the way the ancient Africans looked at it. Okay, so the Christians changed that. So weighing of the heart, on one level, you weighing your heart against a feather. Okay. The feather simply means one meaning can be, did you live life lighthearted? Did you enjoy? Okay. That's what your weighing of the heart is about. Okay, one meaning. But there is also a part of that scale called a tech. Okay, that you'll see. It looks like a little plum. If you look in that scene, it looks like a little plum hanging down, and next to Hootie. Okay, just that little symbol right there. It is so deep. The meaning on that, it is crazy. Okay, it really is. It is absolutely crazy, and people don't understand the symbolic language, so they just go all past that a lot of times. What does it mean when someone has a spiritual awakening? The way I would define that is that they wake up to their higher self. So they wake up to the connection of their higher self. So Guru Quez, this is one of the meanings of uh, death. And actually, in the Bible, death and the dead represent ideas in relative to the soul. Okay. So when a person is dead, that means that they are unaware. They're unaware of their connection. When Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead, that was the aha moment that this person became aware of their higher self. They're no longer dead. So he raised them from the dead. So that's what that esoteric meaning is. Okay. So that's what the spiritual awakening can be about. Jesus turning water into wine. That's another one, spiritual awakening. Okay. So yeah. Let's see. You think you can sell drugs and kill children and don't think you will be judged? Yep, absolutely. Who's going to judge you? Because again, from our perspective, when you have a perspective from the religious idea, then a lot of this stuff won't make sense to you at all. But the deal is that everybody has a reason for the part that they play in somebody's life. Okay, everybody. There's no accidents. Okay, so somebody can do something negative, bad to other people, but that's the part that they've been contracted to play for a reason. So if you think that there's some God sitting on high judging people, go with it. But from the Kemetic perspective, there was no judge in that sense. The judge, which was called Osiris, was judging, did you meet the expectations of the reason that you incarnated on earth for? That's what the judgment is about. It's not about did you do good or bad, okay? That you're going to go to hell. But this is the thing, is that a lot of people who, with the Christian mentality, they think that hell keeps people from doing bad. In other words, because hell scares me, I'm going to be good. And they think that that's the way everybody thinks. That hell, the idea or the threat of hell is a deterrent. But it's not. Okay? So yeah, you're gonna play a part in your life and everybody. So this drug person or whatever, they're doing what they do, but they're just playing a part in the lives of everybody that they destroy lives or whatever. They're destroying them because they're playing their part. And I know that's going to be hard for a lot of people to grasp and understand. I know that is, but it fits. It fits into everything. Okay. Let's see. Crystal gave 19 and 99. Thank you, Crystal. Crystal, I definitely appreciate you. Appreciate you. That's family right there, priming that pump. It's more about personal consequences that you can gain wisdom, right? Yeah, I think I'm getting your question right, Crystal. But yeah, it's your all of us gain wisdom from the pain and hardships that we go through. So, and let's go back to the person selling the drugs. There are going to be consequences that person is going to have to deal with, but it's not necessarily a punishment. If that person is emotionally tied to injuring people in some kind of way, first of all, there's going to be some kind of consequence to that, because what will end up happening is that person will reincarnate in the position that they were in. In other words, if they injured somebody, excuse me, they injured somebody doing something heinous, then they'll reincarnate back in the position of the person that they did the heinous thing to. Okay, so that's a possibility. Okay, that they could so that they could know and understand how that person felt. So even from the perspective of a soul, the physical mind, the soul is supposed to be able to learn how to direct that physical mind to connect to the higher self. But sometimes that connection doesn't happen. That person remains asleep or dead. And they can go off track. And they can go off track and do bad things to people. But then they'll end up incarnating back into the same position of the people that they did bad to. Okay. But not as a punishment. It's to show that person how those individuals that they injured, how they felt. Okay. But it's not as a punishment. All right. Thank you for that question. Thank you for that question. Very good. Very good. Yeah, K left. Good. Bye. They covered here looking for confirmation of the idiotic ideas. Shit, get the fuck out. Excuse my French. Or not. So, but anyway. That's always interesting to me. Let's see. Okay. Questions. Let's see. Let's see. Carlo Realist, do you believe in the use of crystals and candles? Absolutely, positively, sure do. Use them all the time. Crystals, candles, incense, change the mood. I sleep with crystals under my pillow. So absolutely, sure do. I do. So they can be very helpful. Very helpful. All right. Love Flow says, great teaching tonight. Thank you, Love Flow. Appreciate you. Appreciate the kind words. So oh, the man says he's from France. Oh, I like that, the man. That was good. I appreciate that. Oh, that was good. That was a good one. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. And Voice was giving Shawnee some of her past life memories were drawn to the things, places, and cultures because of our soul. Our soul remembers. Absolutely. We can get tied to those places energetically. So very, very, very true, Voice. Very true. We can get tied to those places energetically. Let's see. Michael Fortons. Let's see. Do you believe in Jesus, or is praying even worth it? That's two different questions. And the first question, no, I don't believe in Jesus as an entity, as a person. And is praying worth it? Depends on what your definition of prayer is. If you're talking about praying the way that Christians pray, or the way I was taught as a Christian to pray, is it worth it? Absolutely, positively not. I've learned that trying to beg God to do, whatever. God, please do. God, she is so fine. Can you just deliver her to me? That used to be my kind of prayer. Woo, look at that. No, that kind of prayer ain't worth it. Oh, man. But anyway, seriously. So the way we were taught to pray has very little to do with how it is constructed in our lives. So from the African perspective, prayer is a lot different. And I did a video. If you want to look up the video, let's see here. Where is it? I had let's see, my tickers. I'm looking for my tickers here. Okay. So I did a video training on who do I pray to now? So I know that's a question that a lot of times that Christians will ask, like, who do I pray to now? And they because coming out of it, now that I don't believe in Jesus, who do I pray to? So I created a training on that, just that idea of prayer. So really, the way I look at it is called frequency tuning. So it's a different shift from prayer. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. So anyway, let's see. Okay. Let's see. But yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so it's what time, man? It's almost time. So yeah, so we can it is time because it's 8:10. But so at any rate, guys, y'all had some excellent questions again tonight. I definitely appreciate you. I really enjoy these, because it's like I just get the flow, and I like the flow like that. So y'all asked some excellent questions tonight. So I appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. Let's see. Yeah, and this is so Lamar, you're asking a question. What does the Comedic teachings take you using voodoo, tarot cards, or any other new age practices? If they're helpful for you, use them. So there is nobody, you got to understand, this is about your journey. So there's nobody telling you, like nobody of structure or hierarchy telling you what you should believe and what you should do. If something works for you, use it. Okay. So I've used tarot cards. I haven't studied voodoo, but I understand that there are many Vowden priests and priestesses that can be very helpful. So what we call new age practices a lot today is actually ancient stuff. But tarot cards, obviously, that's something very new. So tarot cards are not ancient in that sense. They're only probably about 400 years old. But I use them, so I find them very helpful. I get readings from my daughter, so she does tarot cards and does tarot readings, so they can be very helpful. So it's just divination. It's just divination in another form. And divination is basically when you are allowing the oracles to speak to you through that medium. Okay. And tarot cards is just a new form of divination, and they work because of synchronicity. All right. So it can work. All right. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to go ahead then, guys, and we're going to shut it down for tonight. But everybody, thank you again. Great questions. All my moderators, Love JJ, Ryla Creator, Dark Goddess, Voice Shave, Vo Vibes. Thank you guys again. I appreciate you all being here and your consistency as usual. Everybody that gave tonight and primed the pump, good for you, priming the pump, and thank you. Okay, so prime the pump. It doesn't have to be something given to me, guys. Give to others and it doesn't have to be money. It could be thanks. It could be just lifting other people up, but it all depends on what you're wanting, that you want to prime the pump with. Okay, if it's money that you're wanting, then you have to gladly and with gratitude give a little if you want a lot to come back. That's what priming the pump means. You give a little and a lot will flow back, but it has to be from a glad heart. Okay, so give. All right. So and again, I don't want that to be self-serving, that you have to do that to me. No, but for me, this is part of priming the pump, because I love doing this. I love teaching, and I love spreading these ideas and sharing these ideas. So this is part of the priming the pump for me, and the universe rewards me for that. So that's the way I look at it. All right. So again, you guys, love you guys. Appreciate being here. Thank you again. And I will see you again next week. All right. Y'all have a great evening.